Now, here's the clip, Nick. The full clip is about 2.5 minutes of that guy, Weissmann, who we just saw on that Ben Shapiro clip. Yeah. Let's hear him. This is his reaction, special counsel. Now, he's the one who did the report. So this is his investigation that is being probed and being criticized. And so this is his reaction to that.
So you were on the Mueller probe. I mean, what was it like to know that for 4 years, another one-time peer, and we should say Mr. Durham was at one time respected and regarded. He came in and did some important work following the Bush years regarding to Jason to the war on terror.
At one time, he was respected. I'm curious to know, when did that respect go away? Was it just this report, or was it something else?
Terror policies. What was it like to have your probe investigated for 4 years?
So we were very aware, as I'm sure Pete Strzok and people at the Bureau before us were very aware, that there was going to be an investigation of us. And you know what? Our view of that was fine. You know what? If you know what you're doing is done in good faith, and obviously you could make mistakes, but our view was like, fine. If somebody wants to come in and second guess what we're doing and look to make sure we did something, that's fine. What's unbelievable about John Durham is he brought 2 cases that he lost. He seemed to say it was okay to bring a case, even though it was really thin and not really provable, as long as you have some other story. This was Bill Barr's argument, which was, oh, that's fine, because he was telling a more important story. That's not what criminal cases are for. So there was just this real lack of substance to what he was doing. And when you have the IG already doing an investigation, talk about like a total... you want to talk about a witch hunt or sort of real wasted resources. There are a lot of things to investigate. There are a lot of things that can be useful in government. If John Durham was really just doing an investigation to talk about what are better policies and practices that the FBI could have and was depoliticizing it, I would have been all for that and said, great. You know what? There's no way that can't use greater scrutiny.
So this guy called the probe into his investigation a witch hunt. When do you guys hear that before? Who recently said that investigations into them was witch hunt? Remember what I told you? All these people are just like Trump. They saw what Trump was doing, and they're like, God damn, why didn't we think of that first? The people with Trump derangement syndrome that literally believe that Trump is the worst of the elite. It's absurd. The fact that they are now using all of Trump's terms, like they using fake news is another one. I remember when Trump
they use the word disinformation, but it's the same thing as fake news.
Hell, I even seen some that actually say fake news. I see examples of that straight up where they would say, "Oh, this is fake, and that's fake news." I'm like, wait, did you just use Trump's term? Now you are right. A lot of them are smart enough to use the term disinformation, but I heard quite a few of them use fake news, and now you see them using witch hunt because they just upset that Trump out establishment them. That's all it is. They're no different. But let's continue.
Absolutely. Continue. It's about a minute left.
But this was trying to say that there's a big there when there's no there. And so I just think the big picture, if you step back, is for those people who think, oh, everybody does it. The Democrats do it, the Republicans do it, everybody's up to no good and shenanigans. There really is that's just not true. There is a false equivalency because you have an enormous number of cases which were proved where there, as you pointed out, there are convictions where there is a there. Russia interfered in the 2016 election. They're continuing to interfere. There are people who've gone to jail who are rightly found guilty. And what you have with John Durham is it's a big fat nothing. And it reminds me of the sort of weaponization hearings that are going on where there also is, they're just falling flat on their face because there is no there.
Here's more liberal freak out reaction where they try to spin like this is not a big deal. That's their whole thing. This is kind of crazy. This is just opinion. And of course, this guy, he has a known propagandist. They always have him on the show. Let's continue.
So look, John Durham, once highly respected, hard-nosed prosecutor.
You notice this is the second time you're hearing once respected. So you're out. If you're not willing to go along with the establishment line, then you're out. even if it's and that line could be a lie, you're out.
And by the way, someone I worked for eons ago as an intern when I was in law school has twisted himself into a pretzel in an attempt to deliver what he could not deliver. If the goal was to rack up many, many indictments and prove all of this Russia stuff as Trump.
Do you see the magic trick he just pulled? The sleight of hand he just made? He said, "You didn't do anything, sir." And all of us are like, what are you talking about? All of this stuff came out. And then he defined what the anything was by saying, if you're to define this basically by indictments, is what he's trying to pull off here, and shift it without addressing the substance. It's a clear tactic when you don't want to address something that's damning like this, in my opinion.
To deliver what he could not deliver. If the goal was to rack up many, many indictments and prove all of this Russia stuff, as Trump says, wrong, he's failed miserably. But if the goal, at least a consolation prize, was to hand over a politically tainted document that can be used in sound bites over and over again on Fox News and other platforms. Already, Congressman Jim Jordan has publicly stated he's going to call Durham to testify in Congress. And you know, sarcastically, I'll note, as others have done, yeah, John Durham should be Exhibit A in the so-called weaponization of government subcommittee, because he was weaponized by Bill Barr and turned against the very institutions that he comes out of. So I think Andrew did a fine job of characterizing much of this report as a difference of opinion. But I'll note that's a polite and perhaps most benign assessment of this report. Really, the most malignant interpretation of this report is Durham was tasked with doing something that was not only unnecessary to do because the IG had already done it, but tasked with doing whatever he could to destroy the origins of the Crossfire Hurricane, the original case. And he's such a bright man that I know him to be, that when he gets things wrong, you know, Andrew pointed out this difference of opinion on probable cause, which he zeroes in on. That popped out at me very quickly as I just started reading the report. Oh, well, they didn't have probable cause. Well, guess what? There's two standards for opening a case. It's either a preliminary inquiry, as Andrew said, which is a reasonable suspicion, or it's a full investigation with this, which is specific and articulable facts. The key here is whether or not you did something investigatively, used a technique from your toolkit that could not be used under a preliminary.
Does that sound like somebody who has the truth on his side? And I'm going to take it down because this is what he does the rest of the clip. Does that sound like somebody who has the truth on his side? Like you, an audience, like if you're listening to somebody tell a story and he's talking like that, what would you think? He is clearly, Nick, in my opinion, then I'll pass it to you. He's clearly, in my opinion, it's like a boxer that has been hit on the ropes. You ever see somebody, or maybe this has happened to you, and then they try to pretend like that blow didn't hurt, like that blow didn't do anything. You get up fast. Oh, they're trying to like act like it didn't hit and it didn't affect them the way that it has. And that's what it looks like to this guy. He's been taken off his game, and he's just flailing and just saying a bunch of things and seeing what sticks. The problem is, Nick, the people who are in this audience, their threshold to allow them to continue to be propagandized with this story, because they don't want to be. You know how hard it is to say, damn, I was fooled by Russiagate for 4 years. You know how hard it is?
Can you imagine wasting your life like that? Jesus Christ. Well, go ahead, CJ.
It's easier to go, yeah, guy, what you're saying is right. Yeah, this seems kind of fishy, huh? Yeah, that seems easier than to go, damn, 4 years of my life when I thought this was real, that's all a lie. It's easier.